Hello, everyone, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of FX new science fiction horror television show, which is based on the Alien franchise. Yes, none other than Alien Earth. This is the review of the first two episodes that dropped on FX and on Hulu, Disney Plus, wherever you can catch this show. It is brought to us by Noah Hawley, who gave us Fargo, the television show, and also Legion, which is a sneaky good show that was based on the X-Men lore, if you believe it or not. I didn't know that watching it, going into it. But regardless, he's given us Alien Earth. And in this show, a space vessel crash lands on Earth, and a young woman and a ragtag of tactical soldiers make a discovery that puts them face to face with the planet's biggest threat. This is a prequel. This isn't set after what is it? Alien Resurrection or whatever. This actually is set in between, if you want to go chronological, in between Alien Covenant and Alien. So it sits right there. The show stars Sydney Chandler and Timothy Olyphant and a cast of others, but those are the two prominent stars of this show. Sydney Chandler, I didn't know, is the daughter of Kyle Chandler, who you may know from Friday Night Lights and upcoming in Lanterns, the show about the Green Lantern Corps. But he's a prominent character actor who I'm a big fan of. He was also in those Godzilla films too. But enough about him. This is his daughter's show. This is the first time I've seen Sydney Chandler. I didn't know anything about her until I was doing some notes and research for the show. And I found out, no, she's the daughter of Kyle Chandler. Okay, that makes sense. She kind of looks like him. And she acts. She can really act. I was really impressed by her, being as though this was my first exposure to her. She comes from good elk. Her father's a great actor. So, hey, some of that should have rubbed off on her, and it indeed did. I was looking forward to this, being as though I am a huge Alien fan. Love Alien. Aliens is one of my favorite movies of all time. Alien 3 is one of those movies that I know a lot of people rag on it, even the director, David Fincher, but I actually enjoyed Alien 3. Now, after that, it's whatever. When you go into Alien Resurrection and all that there, and Prometheus and Alien Covenant. But last year, we got a gem in Alien Romulus, and I thought that was one of the best movies of that year and one of the best films in this franchise. And it gave life to this franchise, to the point where I'm excited for this show. I got hyped up for this show. Not to say that I was looking forward to connect to that movie, but the franchise as a whole. I will say these first two episodes, it is a slow burn. It's a slow burn. But if you know Noah Hawley, who is giving us Fargo and whatnot, that's what he tends to do. And that's where I was kind of skeptical, if I had any skepticism about this show, was his involvement in it. Because not that I don't like his work, because I love Fargo, but I know that it's a slow burn type of storytelling that he likes to tell. And Alien isn't really known for its slow burn. Alien, the first one, Ridley Scott and Sigourney Weaver, yeah, it was a slow burn, but that was introducing this new universe, if you will. And so I get all that. Aliens, the James Cameron film, that was a straight up action film. So it was fast paced. Then every other film after that was more of a fast pace. Alien Romulus as well, the latest film in this franchise, that had a little pace to it, a quicker pace, I should say. And I know this is a TV show. You know, you're not going to get aliens every 3 frames of this show. I get that. You know, I get that. But you also have to take into account these are the first 2 episodes. And so they want to introduce this world. We already know about aliens. We've seen 50 movies with aliens. We know what the xenomorphs are all about. You know, they come out of an egg. Uh, they got the face huggers. That'll latch onto your face, lay an egg in your stomach. It'll explode out your stomach, and uh, all hell breaks loose after that. But yeah, we get all that. So we have to be introduced to these characters. So with a show like this, your characters are paramount. They are key. And so you need to have characters that you're willing to go on this journey with, because there's a lot of talking. This is dialogue heavy here. And one of the concerns I had, not so much for me, but for a lot of fans of this franchise, you know, will they be willing to go on this ride with this show? I will say, straight off the bat, if I wasn't a fan of this franchise, or this was my first exposure to the alien lore, I probably would be a little standoff with it. I probably would give up on the show, to be honest with you, because there's not a lot of alien in these first 2 episodes. You get some carnage now, and it's gory. It's more gory than I thought. You know, because I'm thinking this is on television. This is a television show, but it is on Hulu. It's on FX, so it's you can bend a lot there. You can you can do a lot more with the gore, but you really don't see the gore take place as much. You know, you just see the aftermath a lot, and that's fine. You know, I don't need to see people being ripped in half, but you do see people who were ripped in half, body still in shock, and their upper half are trying to crawl away from what's happening. And you know, me being a sicko, I enjoyed every minute of that. And now, going back and touching in on what I was saying about the characters that will anchor this show, that will keep you invested in this show, I think these characters and actors are great. I love our lead here, Sydney Chandler. She plays Wendy, and her whole setup is worth the wait. Is worth the journey. You know, her story. She starts off, she's a sick girl, a little girl who's pretty much terminal. She has, I'm assuming, cancer, terminal cancer, and she's dying. So this trillionaire offers her a chance to transfer her consciousness into a synthetic body. You know, her body is going to die. It's over for that. But she can still live with her mind in this other body. And so they do it, and it works. And that's the character we have. That's Wendy. And I love how this is playing out so far. I don't know how it's going to play out the rest of the season, but so far I love how this is going, because she isn't the only one. She's the first one. I think they call them hybrids. She's the first one, but there are others. And that's when the show really took off for me. I was so into it, so with these characters, that I forgot it was Alien. You know, at that point, I didn't care if it was an Alien show. That just became the icing on the cake, because these are kids, and they can only use kids because of their minds. The adult mind is, I can't remember exactly how they framed it in the show, but they can't use an adult mind to transfer into these synthetics, and so they can only use children, and it's a child's mind. And so when they transfer into these adult synthetic bodies, they're still children, and they're acting like children. And I love that they're not dumb. It's not like they're dumb children. It's not just acting childish for a child's sake, you know, like Adam Sandler type. You know, no disrespect, I love Adam Sandler, but you know what I'm saying, like the Billy Madison type, just being stupid. It's not really acting childish, it's more stupid in those movies. But here they're children, And these actors that they put together for this show to play these characters are nailing it. It was portions of this, actually, for the majority of it, when they were on screen, and I'm looking at full-grown adults, but I'm in my mind, I'm picturing children because their acting is so spot on. It is so good how they put it together and how they interact with one another. And then when they're around other adults, real adults, their interactions, and it's just a joy to watch that. And that's the shining light that I've gotten out of these first 2 episodes of the show. Now, this is Alien Earth. This is a science fiction horror show. And so it does have some awesome horror. I touched in on it earlier. Yes, the horror is there. The gore is there. The aliens are alien. They are doing their thing. There's no skimping on that. So far, we only exposed to one throughout these first 2 episodes. But we did see a lot of eggs in that second episode. And so it's really, really going to get really intense as we go forward. My only question is, just going logical in my mind and in regards to canon, how is this going to get off of Earth? I always wanted, ever since the first Alien and so on, it's always been in space or on another planet or on a space station or whatever, never on Earth. We never got an alien on Earth. So that was number one, what had my antennas perked up for this show. I'm like, okay, we're finally going to Earth. Now it's 21, the year 2120, but it's Earth nonetheless. And that was a big question mark for me, canon wise. Okay, they never addressed that in other films, that the aliens were on Earth at one point, that there was an interaction with these xenomorphs. Now, I'm pretty sure they're going to explain it away with these, the Weyland Yutani, I think it's called. I'm pretty sure I butchered it, but that corporation, they covered it up. I don't know how you cover up a whole city, because that vessel, that space vessel, crash lands in a city, a real city, not a town, on the outskirts of Chanchuba, Mexico, but it's in the actual living, breathing city. And they're going to have to do some heavy lifting to explain why nobody ever addressed it in films, especially Sigourney Weaver and whatnot, but I'm pretty sure the show will address it as we move forward. It's just something that popped in my head while I was watching the show. It really never dawned on me until I was watching the show. So it don't matter. I don't care. As long as the show is good, to be honest with you. And I will say, so far, these first 2 episodes were decent. Am I over the moon excited for the show? No, my excitement kind of went down. It's not as horrifying as I was hoping it would be, but at the same time, I kind of knew that was going to be the case, the way the show has been going so far, because of the creators behind the scenes. So I'm not surprised, but I guess in my heart of hearts, I was hoping that we got a lot more alien action. But this is only the first 2 episodes. We have a lot more to go this season. They dropped the first 2 episodes today, but every week we're going to get an episode, just like it used to be back in the day before we got Hulu and Netflix and Prime Video, when they dropped entire seasons at once. Back in the day, we had to wait a week. And so that will build excitement, and I guess that would help this show a lot more. Like I said, I'm not disliking it, I'm just not over the moon excited for it, but I am encouraged moving forward because it does look like we got a lot of story to tell here and a lot of action, a lot of horror in store for us, because these two episodes really did do a good job of planting the seeds of what's going on around us, what's the conflict outside of this ship, outside of this building that they're in, and will this affect the entire Earth, or are we just relegated to this building? And so I want to see if we're going to expand even further out throughout the season. So there are a lot of questions I want to answer. That's why I'm excited to get back into this show, and I'm gonna keep watching. I'm gonna keep watching because I got a sneaky feeling that business is about to pick up on this show. But I would love to know, what did you think of Alien Earth so far? What did you think of the first two episodes that dropped on FX and Hulu? Let me know by email. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, YouTube. Don't forget, subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and smash that like button if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this review of the first 2 episodes of Alien Earth. Want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.